We are going on to our next session, Big Legacies, Extraordinary Stories. Let's welcome Lory Burgos, a senior consultant and diverse marketing from Nationwide. Hi, Lory.
Hi there. Thank you so very much. And welcome to Nationwide's Fireside Chat, Big Legacies, Extraordinary Stories, where we share inspiring stories about Latinas who are creating a big impact in their communities. Today, I am both excited and honored to welcome Valeria Aloe, a native of General Belgrano, Argentina. She is an award-winning entrepreneur, consultant, speaker, and wife and mother. She is the creator of Abundancia Consciente, a bilingual platform that supports women and minorities in adopting improved habits and behaviors to boost resilience and productivity with the ultimate goal of achieving greater success. Valeria has led the highly successful Hispanic Entrepreneurship Training Program for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey for the last 3 years, working closely with hundreds of entrepreneurs, generating access to capital, contracting, and job creation opportunities. Before embarking on her entrepreneurial journey, Valeria worked in the global corporate sector for more than 2 decades. Bienvenida, Valeria. Thank you so much for joining us today to share your beautiful story.
Gracias, Lory. Thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored.
Thank you, Valeria, again. And so, I had the opportunity to speak with Valeria several times as we were preparing for this session today, because we have very short 15 minutes. So we had to make it very powerful and have a punch. And so I am very inspired with her story. Her story begins with a major crisis. And that crisis opens the door to opportunities. So Valeria, jump in and tell us how you end up in this crisis and how you seize the opportunity in front of you.
Thank you, Lory. So if I do a good job today, I will inspire you to believe that a crisis is actually an opportunity for a new beginning and for doing things differently. So my story starts in a very small rural town in Argentina, where I grew up. I'm from Argentina. And growing up in a very simple life, my parents did not have access to high school or to college, so I became their dream come true. I was doing really well in school, so they started to dream about me becoming the first one to go to college, even though they didn't have the financial means to pay for that. So I embraced that dream, I made it my own, and by the age of 18, I moved to Buenos Aires, started to work full-time, attended college, and I graduated with 2 college degrees and honors. So I became officially the first one in my family to achieve that dream. At the same time, I became the first one to pursue a corporate career. And for many of you listening today, I'm sure you will connect with this. Being the first one, many of you, I'm sure, are the first ones to achieve something in your family that no one ever achieved before. And being the first one is not easy. It is uncomfortable. Not knowing what you're doing or not having somebody that you love and trust to guide you is hard, is stressful, but opportunities opened and I went through those doors. So I came to the US in 2002 for my MBA at Dartmouth, and then worked for many years in corporate in 7 countries, speaking 3 languages. I started my family. I have 2 beautiful children. So my life had been all about doing, achieving, go after that, what's next, right? It was always what's next, not even enjoying what I have achieved. It was what's next for me. How can I make my life even more productive and achieve more and go after the next thing? So in 2016, I burned out. And this was a major point in my life where, and I'm happy we were talking about mental health, that's extremely important because I felt depleted, I felt useless, I felt hopeless, and I was entirely exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally. So it was time for me to stop, and this is a blessing. For the first time in my life, I had to stop absolutely everything that I was doing, even though, with young kids and jobs and everything, I stopped everything. And the first lesson was, I have to, and I invite you to please embrace this lesson. which was mentioned before. I have to take care of myself first so that I can take care of others. And I can do it with absolutely no guilt. That's the other part, doing it with no guilt. So through this crisis, and I'm drawing a parallel with what we're going through right now in the planet, a crisis is an opportunity to stop, to reset, to go within, and to have a new beginning in your life. It's really going deep inside, understand what is not working, and make changes. So that has been my journey since 2016. And the opportunity that showed up in my life that I was not actively looking for was the blessing of finding my purpose, my mission, and my passion. So as I stepped out of working all day in a corporation with a laptop, Excel, PowerPoint meetings, and everything, and I stepped into real life of community, I approached the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I went to a few events and I was asked to lead a program for them. I was still recovering, so I said, yes, I will do it with balance, and I embraced the opportunity. I also collaborated with another organization called Latinas Search, and this was a major, major blessing for me because it was the opportunity to immerse in our community. It became my passion, my purpose, what drives me every day. And through the work that I did leading that educational program for small businesses, I had the honor of working closely with 500 Hispanic business owners and professionals. And by that, from a place of vulnerability where I was coming from really tearing down my entire life and starting essentially from scratch, I was very open to listening, to connecting with them, to really understanding their needs. And I decided to take action, to use my gifts, my talents, and all the doors that opened in my life to give back to the community. That's why I started to help Latina business owners, found a way to create opportunities for them. You know, what Lory has mentioned before, that has been my journey so far. But the biggest blessing of all is that after 15 years in the US and through my immersion in the Hispanic community, I felt for the first time in 15 years that I am home, that I have a place that I can belong, that I am accepted, that I can contribute, and that energy comes back in multiple blessings.
That's so awesome, Valeria. So awesome. You know, I um, I attended an event yesterday where the facilitator said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And you know, when I hear your story, by the way, thank you so much for being vulnerable. It's not very easy to share, you know, with hundreds of people the fact that you went through a burnout and that you had to everything came to a complete stop. I love the fact that you were able to take what most could consider as an adverse environment or situation, and you're turning into a positive, and you're looking for ways not only to rebuild yourself but to also help the community. One of the things that I want to underscore that I heard you speak about, because this is just so true for our Latina women, is that first of all, we don't know when to stop. We're just going and going and going, and we keep going, and we just keep going until we get burnt out. And we also don't know how to not feel guilty about taking time for ourselves, not feel guilty about saying no to things, and that leads to the burnout that that many have experienced. So I just wanted to underscore that and get our audience to really follow along, because real soon Valeria is going to start talking to us about these insights, and she has a really cool name that she gave these insights to, that she arrived at as she had the opportunity to work with these 500 Hispanic entrepreneurs in New Jersey, and how she connected these dots, and how these insights actually kind of propel her to the next chapter of her life. So I think right now, Valeria, if it's okay with you, tell us what you were noticing, when you were working with these entrepreneurs. What were you noticing was like a common link, and how that led to your insights?
Yeah, so by really listening to, the 400 to 500 people with whom I work closely and understanding their problems and providing solutions, I observed that many of our Hispanic, particularly Latinas, many of our people grow initially, they embrace the knowledge, the new tools, the network, they embrace that, but then they get stuck. So I observed that and I went in depth to understanding why that is. And I call that the Hispanic paradox. We are extremely powerful. We are getting more educated. We are having access to opportunities that our parents did not have access to, our grandparents forget about it. We are an economic power in the US. If we, the US Hispanic population, were our own country, we would be the 8th largest economy in the world. So what's going on that we are not in leadership positions the way we should be? Our Latinas are opening businesses at a disproportionate rate compared to other populations, yet we stay small. We do not have the same access to capital or to contracts from government or corporations. Our Latinas who are in the workforce make half the salary that a white man makes. That's a significant wage gap, and it has been unchanged for the last 20 years. So I embarked on a mission to understand why that is. And yes, there are some, economic conditions or systemic conditions which are changing. But we need to be mindful that there are some internal mindset barriers that are not allowing us to grow the way we should or to embrace the opportunities that are going to be and are now available. So a few things that I wanted to share with you is some of the ways in which I find we limit ourselves. One is when we start pointing the finger out and we say it's the economy, it's the government, it's my boss, it's my team, it's my client, and we need to point the finger in. And that was a massive lesson for me. I learned, and this changed my life significantly, that I create, I allow, and I promote absolutely everything that happens in my life. So that invites me to take 100% responsibility. I create, I promote, and I allow everything. Think about something that you're going through that is difficult right now. And think about how you somehow created, promoted, or allowed that to happen. So this is a place of empowerment. This gives you full, not guilt or not feeling bad about it. It gives you full responsibility because now you can change it. You're a creator and you can change it and start it right now. One other limitation that I found is that we allowed our self-perceived limitations to run the show. If you look into neuroscience, and I'm not getting too much into that because we don't have time, 95% of the decisions or actions we take in a day are run by the subconscious. And what's in the subconscious? A lot of information that we put in there before we were 18 years old. So think about your life, who you think you were, the opportunities you thought were available for you before you were 18, and your life now. So to get out of that trap, it requires that we upgrade how we think about ourselves individually as Latinas and collectively as a community. What we think about ourselves, who we really are, and what we think is possible for us to achieve individually and collectively. And the third one that I want to share really quickly is younger Latinas, I've seen this, think that they need to change to be successful. And I heard I need to act more white. I need to control my emotions because I don't want to come across as too Latina. I need to not move my hands when I speak. I need to tone myself down. And my message is, you're spending a lot of energy into changing your essence and who you are. And if you put that energy on the other side on creating what you want, you will excel. Because it takes energy to change something, right? So use that energy instead of to change who you are. Accept, embrace, put that energy into creating what you want. And finally, because of that power of redirecting the energy from changing yourself to creating, become your advocate, become your agent, and go after the opportunities. Don't wait. Go after the opportunities that are now available for us.
That's so awesome, Valeria. Thank you so much, for really pinpointing what you saw as like the common threads around, the fact that some of the entrepreneurs you were working with weren't really reaching their maximum potential. And a lot of those really resonate for me, especially as I was a younger Latina and in my career. So thank you so much for those. Now, so we start with this major burnout, and then you receive this awesome opportunity with the Hispanic Chamber in New Jersey. You start immersing yourself in the community of Hispanic entrepreneurs. You start helping them out. You draw all of these great insights, and now this leads you to some major transformation that I would say is both personal and professional. And so tell us how that resulted in Abundancia Consciente, and why you created it.
So I created Abundancia Consciente to support the diversity and inclusion efforts of organizations. The way I see it, organizations are moving very fast, and we have heard that even from JP Morgan earlier today, are moving very fast to create opportunities for our community. But we need to make sure that we have everything that we have discussed before, that we self-empower, that we upgrade the way we think about ourselves and what's possible for us, that we start advocating for ourselves. So think about Abundancia Consciente as diversity and inclusion from the bottom up. The companies are doing from the top down. This is from the bottom up. You empowering yourself, you sharpening your leadership skills, you going after important achievements in your life. But I want to emphasize this with balance, with no burnout. We are mothers, wives, sisters, daughters. We have so much going on. We have friends, we have a community. We play in so many areas that we cannot afford for ourselves, and for those many loved ones that we support, we cannot afford to burn out. So yes, we can achieve extraordinary success in our lives. We can go after our dreams. We can reclaim our power, go after the opportunities, but it has to be from a place of connecting with your inner wisdom, doing it with balance, listening to yourself, tuning into your needs, and honoring yourself. So Abundancia Consciente works with micro steps. That's how we learn as human beings. You were in kindergarten and you did not grab a pen and wrote an essay, and if you did, call me later. But how human beings learn in a way that is sustainable over time is with small steps. So you wrote A, multiple times B, multiple times C, and through those micro steps, you learn to write, to read. So that's how we work with Abundancia Consciente. We help you take those little steps starting now. You gain self-confidence. And when you look back over time, you will see exponential results.
So Valeria, I know our time is short. We could be here talking all day. I know that I've truly enjoyed all of the multiple sessions we had before being in front of the audience today. And so I want to know what last message do you wish to leave our audience with?
My message is for all of us, myself included, our time is now as Latinas. As I love to say, there has never been a better time to be a Latina than now. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We have to honor where we are coming from, honor the sacrifice, the hard work of our parents and grandparents, and take action. It is now our time, individually and collectively, to create impact. So my invitation for you is to think about which micro step can you take today, right now, today, to create more impact in your life or in the life of others. And my micro step will be right now to acknowledge nationwide, Latina style, all the sponsors and the amazing people behind this event. Because last night we had a gathering and I was amazed at the sisterhood, the brotherhood, the collaboration, and it inspired me. And I know that for us, based on what I have seen yesterday, what I'm seeing today, I know the best is yet to come. I'm very, very thankful. And thank you, Lory, for your support and partnership.
Thank you so much, Valeria, for sharing that beautiful story. Valeria has a free mini webinar titled 3 Keys to Thrive in the Next Normal, in addition to an extensive bilingual blog with content to help you achieve your greatest potential. And so I will be posting those links on the chat. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Nationwide is on your side.